This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
Mama, was there ever a time in your life where you just wanted to, because we're coming up, this is a leap year, so just talking about that, but take a leap of faith. Like maybe you were scared about something, take a risk, and maybe you weren't 100% sure that you wanted to do that, because I know you're not a big risk taker.
No, I'm not. So back in the day when you were just a couple years old, we found some property.
Who was president?
I'm not sure.
Was it Clinton?
It was 90, 92?
I think that was Bush.
That would have been the end of George H. Bush's presidency. That would have been the beginning of Bill Clinton's presidency.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm a country girl. I grew up surrounded by fields, living in the country. In fact, most of my life, I have lived with a field across from me. And so I don't do well in the city. And we found some property. It was 20 acres. The real estate agent lived right next door to us. And he said, hey, I've got this property, 20 acres. But I'm a stay-at-home mom with 3 little kids. And my husband's a teacher. And so we weren't abounding in money. And he said, well, just come out and look at it. And immediately fell in love with this 20 acres outside of town. It was gorgeous.
Was this here in Northern California?
No.
This is in Kalinga. This was...
So Kalinga, you're heading south on the 5. It smells really
3
bad.
hours, yeah.
Oh,
Harris
wow.
Ranch.
Okay.
That's where.
So,
what was it about the property, though? Like, why were we like, this is the one?
Oh, it was so gorgeous because there was nothing around. It was the end of where it was just fields and cattle and grass. And you could see the expanse of the valley, of the hills. Yeah. And it was just so gorgeous. And it was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to afford this? But we have got to get this property. So came up with kind of creative financing. And I said, how about we just pay, because it was owner finance, because it was undeveloped land. We just pay interest-only payments to the people that own the land until I go back into the workforce as a teacher, and then we'll make big payments and pay it off in a couple of years. And they agreed to that. And the real estate agent said, I have never heard of this before, but we'll give it a go. And so they went with our price. It had only been on the market for a couple of days. I mean, we were the first people to see it, too.
It was fast, too, and they took it.
It was fast, and they took it. And they said, yeah, we're good with that. We don't need the money right away. So we paid them interest-only payments for 4 years. And then I went back into the workforce when the kids were in kinder. And so, yeah, but that was just out of pure love for this property. And, and that's where the kids grew up.
What was your interest in the property? Why did you want 20 acres of undeveloped land?
That's a good question.
Well, I think
it's because they wanted to put us to work.
Well, there wasn't anything less than 20 acres out there. It was all designated ag land. And another thing we thought was kind of interesting was you could put them multiple homes on the property. So we thought, we're all going to live on this property forever, and the kids can build their home on here, and we're all going to be, together forever. And so it was kind of that long-term vision of being out where it's quiet. We could make as much noise as we wanted. We had no neighbors. We could blare our music, and it was peaceful, and it was gorgeous.
Yep, it was a fun place to live.
And so what's the ending of that story? You finally purchased the property, and you're all living there together on the property now?
No.
Wall-built houses? You're being loud?
You go into a home or you go into a work job and you think, okay, this is going to be it forever. And then life throws some curves and the whole thing is, are you going to bend or are you going to break?
Right.
Like a tree. And so you just go, okay, this was wonderful, but got to live there for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And still it is the screensaver. It is the wallpaper on my phone, is my drive up to the house out in the country, because now I'm living up here. But
that's so cool, though. But it paid off. It was a risk. It was scary. You obviously couldn't afford the payments. It was something that you were looking towards down the future. You didn't see that reward right away. It took a long time to really invest and see the fruit of taking that leap.
And the trust of the buyer to say, the seller to say, no, we're going to trust you to make these payments.
Right.
That blows my mind that they were willing to take an offer with it being brand new on the market like that. Did you know them personally?
No, we didn't know them at all.
Okay. Yeah, because Small town, everybody knows somebody.
We knew the name. We kind of knew of the family.
What
but
was
we
their
didn't
name?
know
Do we
Walkers.
Remember? Oh gosh, there's a lot of Walkers.
There's a lot of Walkers. It isn't the Walkers that we're really good friends with.
But that happens in real estate a lot, right? The owner hears the story of the person that wants to buy the home or buy the property, and they hear your story and they think, oh, that's sweet, that's nice, we like that, we like that buyer. So even if they get bigger offers, if something's important to them, they want to know that what they're selling is going to go into the hands of someone who's going to take care of it.
Well, that's a big deal, isn't it, Johnny? That sometimes even buyers will write a letter saying how much the house means to them, and it helps make the decision for the seller. Right?
It's a bit of a sticky wicket. So buyers agents will submit them. Some listing agents will not present them because fair housing. You're not allowed. Like, what if this is a certain demographic of family and they submitted the offer, and not because of the demographics, the family, the seller picked somebody else. But what if that buyer then goes, well, you just didn't pick us because we're this demographic.
That could be tough. You're right.
So there's a sticky wicket there. But then I also come across sellers who are like for example, we have a house coming up in Rancho Cordova. It's a very affordable price point. And the sellers are adamant. It used to be their mom's house. The sellers are adamant, hey, we really want a young family to buy this house. And so, if somebody does submit the letter and that letter gets to them, then that would have an influence on that seller about who, like if it's a single person or a young family and there's comparable terms, they might go with the young family. So you're right, it does play a role in it, but as a listing agent, you got to be careful.
Sure.
But some buyer's agents are really aggressive with that letter. They'll actually embed it in the offer. Like they'll submit the whole offer with the PDF as one solid PDF. So now the agent has to go in and split the PDF to get the offer letter out of there if they're presenting offers to their buyers or to the sellers.
But especially when you're in a market where there's multiple offers, even in the first weekend, you got to figure out ways to make your offer stand out, right?
Yeah. No, you do. But so we just put a house in contract. We had 18 offers on it. People are wondering all the time, hey, when's the market going down? Is this going to, our interest rate's going to make it less competitive? This is in February, right? At the time of this recording. And so 18 offers. That is just absolutely crazy in a 7% interest rate market. And the house went for $60,000 in contract for over $60,000 above list. And they waived their contingencies. So if that house doesn't even appraise for that value, and that's in today's market. And so when you have 18 offers on a home, that's a lot of letters to read. Right?
Yeah.
And so is the seller really going to go through and read all those letters? They'll probably only read the letters of the strongest offers.
Right, the ones that have good financing. Right.
Good financing, good terms, those types of things.
Well, that's why we were shocked, really, because we didn't even offer their asking price for the land. And we were their first offer, and they still took our lower price.
Really?
And yes. We asked, actually, I can say it was $60,000 to get the 20 acres, so we can tell that was a long time ago.
I didn't know that, yeah.
It was, they were asking 60, and we offered 55 with owner financing, and they went for it. So I would say don't be afraid if you really, really, really want something, land or a home, you can try to be creative.
Absolutely. Make an offer. Like if you don't make an offer, it's 100% going to get rejected. So just always make an offer. That's what we're always telling buyers. Just make an offer. It doesn't cost anything to make an offer.
Right.
Well, I'm embarrassed. Well, I don't know if I don't want them to think less of me. Nobody cares, right?
We're not in junior high anymore.
Yeah, we're not in junior high. So I heard this great quote. People in their 20s care what other people think about them. People in their 40s don't care what other people think about them. People in their 60s realize nobody was even thinking about you in the first place.
That's it. That's true. Where I am. Yeah.
So just jump to the 60s. Nobody's even thinking about you. But so speaking of risks though, when Valor and I got, transitioned into real estate, and you were talking about you were worried, Mom, about not having a steady income and things like that. What else did you observe? Because I know there's a lot of people listening who might be thinking about doing the same transition.
I think what helped with me was knowing the character and the integrity and the perseverance and drive that you have. So you love a challenge. You do this crazy every birthday challenge that we can talk about another time. But you feed off of a real severe challenge. If anyone says it can't be done, Johnny's going to say, okay, let's do it. And so I knew that no matter what, you weren't going to quit at the first sign of trouble or any kind of problem that would come up, that you would find a way to leap over it. Mm-hmm. And so knowing you and your perseverance and your work ethic, I thought if anyone's going to make it, they're going to make it. And you and Valerie as a team, because of the way that you guys are so strong together, I really have not been seriously concerned.
Yeah. And we were, I don't want to say we were like reckless, but we were smart about it. Like making a big change like that, there's a certain element of risk to it, but we transitioned slowly. So first of all, I had to get it cleared with Chevron, because technically moonlighting's not allowed. And my boss at the time said, yeah, that's fine, just as long as it doesn't interfere with your work here. And so I said, great. And then I quickly realized, so I would go to work clean, come home dirty.
very.
And then I'd have to shower real quick, and then I'd go to the office and start working in the afternoons. And it was definitely not the easiest thing to be working two jobs like that. But I also realized early on how much work it entailed, and so that's why I enlisted Valerie. And then there's only so many things you can do as an unlicensed assistant. So she quickly got her real estate license. And then the two of us working together, we were able to transition from, here's an interesting thing about our transition, is I didn't go full-time in real estate until we moved up here. And
now that was the leap of faith.
That was the massive leap, because I moved up here, Valerie and I moved up here, and we knew nobody. Like nobody. We beat you up here, Mama, by a couple of months.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Yeah. And so I didn't know what the grocery store was. I didn't know any of that. And so, but we had made that transition by slowly, the previous years, I think we owned 3 or 4 different rental properties. So we sold all of that. We'd been selling homes in Kalinga, and so we were banking those commissions. And so we had this nest egg, and then we made the leap of faith up here. But we didn't even go full time until we moved to Roseville. Right.
So it was a change of home location, complete change of job, cutting the ties with any kind of and that's steady income.
That's the thing that I see most agents struggle with, is they're trying to do it smart. And I agree, you should have 3 to 6 months of reserves stacked up, but you have to make the jump at some point. If you always straddle the fence and you're always like, hey, I don't want to let go of this state job, or I don't want to let go of this great job that I have right now, I'm just going to continue to do both. Your real estate business is always going to suffer. You cannot catch 2 rabbits. And so,
well, just what you were doing with Chevron.
Yeah.
You were having to fit in real estate when you weren't at Chevron. And so you weren't able to do it all day long. And so it was, yeah.
But at some point you got to make a decision.
Right.
You can't be like a professional anything if you're doing, like you can't be a professional lawyer and a professional realtor. You can't be a professional dentist and a professional realtor.
Right. So if there's someone listening right now and they're thinking about making that jump, maybe they're in the industry right now and they're just not seeing the numbers they want because maybe they haven't taken that leap of faith or haven't been, somewhat reckless in making those tough decisions. Or there's someone who's just thinking about entering into the industry. They want to get their license. You guys have availability to help guide them a little bit, right? And provide some resources that they won't be able to find with other companies.
Absolutely. So we have a couple different resources, a couple different programs. So if you're looking to get licensed, we can help walk you through that and give you guidance and clarity on what the costs are, how do you do this effectively, how do you make that transition from part-time agent to full-time agent. And then for those people who are already licensed and are looking to maybe take their career to the next level, we have a program for them as well, where we launch them from being, maybe a part-time agent or selling, less than $6 million a year in sales to bumping them up to $6 to $10 million in sales. So we have 2 different programs that, depending on where you are, if you want to learn more about that, just reach out to us. Go to madeformoreliving.com. You can reach out to us there, or just, give us a call.
What's your phone number?
So you can call the Tom Daves line. You can call 855-TOM-DAVES, or you can just Google us and call the number there on the Google page.
Cool. So it's living.com.
Madeformoreliving.com.
So maybe you've got a rental property and at first you thought it was a great idea, but it's just so much work. It's not bringing in the money you had hoped. You don't have time to keep up with all the maintenance. Here's what you can do. It's a simple phone call to Johnny Jennings with the Tom Daves Real Estate Team, 855-TOM-DAVES. They might even give you an all-cash offer, make it simple, quick, and fast. You might get more money than you think, or you can just go to TomDaves.com. That's Tom, DAVES.com. Whether you have a rental property or you're moving out of state and you just want to sell your home fast, go to TomDaves.com, find out what kind of offers you would get or how much you would get if you wanted a cash offer, no matter what kind of condition the home is in. Again, it's Tom, DAVES.com or 855-TOM-DAVES. License number 581837.